And they're running. It's currently the afternoon hours, right around 4:30 p.m. Philippine Standard Time. We are continuing to track Tropical Storm Jangmi or Seniang out here, and now in the Sulu Sea. At least that's where the center of circulation is. We still have Signal Force 2 warnings in effect across western portions of Visayas. Conditions really are rapidly improving though, in parts of Cebu. Definitely well over with there in the Mindanao. But the big topic today has been the flooding from the storm system. That if you haven't been watching the updates for the past week, that's really what we've been stressing here at Western Pacific Weather. It's the reality that this storm is definitely very slow moving. It has been very slow moving, and the return effect of that is that you get heavy rainfall over an extended period of time. So northern portions of Mindanao extending through southern Visayas, including Cebu, we've been seeing very severe flooding there. Has received over about 3 to some areas 400 millimeters. Actually, in one area in northeastern Mindanao, you saw upwards about 300 millimeters in the course of 12 hours. So some significant rainfall really taking place out here. And these are just some of the images shared with us on our Facebook page. One thing I do want to note, at least at this time, we have seen 3 reports of casualties, several unconfirmed reports about ranging from 6 to 9. Given the amount of flooding we are seeing here, just by taking a look at these images, though, I would not be surprised if that 6 to 9 is up there. And the other big issue with this is that we've seen very little warning ahead of this storm system. Take a look at this landslide there in Cebu. Just some incredible stuff coming out of there. That's what happens when you get this much rainfall on saturated grounds. You get these landslides, washed away roadways. Now, what I was mentioning, though, about the fact that the storm really spun up rather quickly. So going from a tropical depression here in the Philippine Sea to a tropical storm just prior to landfall. Fact of the matter is, though, we've been talking about this way back here towards the east, but we noticed that Pagasa sometimes is paper coverage, and what I mean by that, they have these templates that they put out the forecast with, and then we'll put out stuff like, hey, there's a possibility of a storm. We didn't really see that until about 12 hours prior to landfall. And that's why I think a lot of people are somewhat caught off guard by this. We've been talking about it for a while, but this really is a slow-moving, big rain event, and definitely it's one of these storms I think people are going to remember just coming up to the new year, and given the fact that it is one of the last systems of the season. So what's it going to be doing as far as the forecast? Well, let's go back to the forecast track there. This is from the Japan Meteorological Agency. They have it at 65, or excuse me, this is the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, 65 gusting to 83 kilometers per hour. Do expect it to actually regain some intensity, bumping up to about 93, gusting 120 kilometers per hour, max intensity. Now, as we take a look at the forecast, though, look at the long range, where this is headed. That's going to be the big issue, I think, heading into the latter part of this week and into the new year, because that area of Malaysia, the last thing you need right now is more rainfall. It has been seeing flooding, over 100,000 people evacuated, dozens have died in the past week and a half. So any more rain is going to be definitely a very big problem out here. You can see the forecast already continues to call through rain for the rest of the week, but any more is going to be a very big issue here. This is the latest forecast from the Japan Meteorological Agency. They expect it to maintain that 65 gusting to 90 kilometer per hour strength, but as we mentioned basically all week, it's not so much the wind with it. Yeah, near the center of circulation. It is fairly breezy out there. Adonis and Roman were both the weathercasters here at WesternPacificWeather.com, both reporting that they are seeing some fairly gusty winds out there, but it's the rain that's just been persistent. Also seeing some gale force winds farther towards the north, really ushering in some dry air across Luzon. But the bigger issue continues to be the rainfall. There's a big blob of moisture, and I know that's not meteorologically correct, but that's kind of what's happening here. It's just going to continue to track off there towards the west, picking up the moisture from the Sulu Sea, then out there towards the South China Sea, eventually moving there towards the west, and then eventually into Friday and Saturday, we're going to see this track down there towards the southwest, kicking up the moisture, first in the southern Vietnam and then over towards Malaysia. So a big issue with that, and definitely could cause that very serious risk of flooding. So if you're out here in Malaysia, you want to keep a close eye on this. Still going to see that moisture inflow wrapping around the eastern periphery of it, so also looking at the risk of continued rainfall in parts of southern Luzon of its size. Now, as I mentioned, though, the gale force winds will continue to remain in place across Luzon. For those of you in Manila worried about you're going to be seeing some rainfall on New Year's, probably not going to happen. Actually, this is going to keep things dry out here. You can see your temperatures even dropping. The low 60s. For Celsius, that's about 15 degrees. So things are getting dropping into the teens here. And it's going to stay on the chilly side for northern portions of the Philippines. This is a hindcast, not a forecast, by the way. Just 12-hour average lows on the left, highs on the right. And even back towards the north, take a look at much of Japan. You think it's cold down there if you're in the 60s, upwards into the... This is well below zero, just 12 there north of Tokyo. Whew, that is some chilly stuff. Take a look at the whole forecast here as far as the rest of the Western Pacific. I know I haven't really talked about it too much. I'm sure given those temperatures, you would think that Japan is really getting hammered by some snowfall, and that is definitely the case. Up and down the Sea of Japan coastline, still seeing the heavy snow. In Tokyo, partly cloudy skies, actually. Staying on the sunny side. That's going to be the case. It's just the mountains really continuing to block all the snowfall. But if you're a skier heading out towards the slopes along the Sea of Japan, it is going to be continuing to be rather heavy out there for you. So you're going to be feeling the effects of that. And the northeast monsoon still impacting those of you in the Taiwan, the southern Japanese islands. High pressure still dominating China, staying on the dry side there. Absolutely chilly. And of course, we are still watching our tropical storm. And lastly, recovery efforts underway into the Java Sea. You remember that our airline, AirAsia, did crash out here. It does look like the wreckage of that has been found, but the weather still not cooperating. Thunderstorms continuing to flare up here, and that's going to be hampering those recovery efforts. Plus, remember, this is very strong ocean currents through this area rushing in between the islands, so that's going to be an ongoing story. I'm not going to get into too much of that. That's just some quick information if you are following this scenario as well. All right, guys, that is all for right now. As always, stay safe out there, guys. And as always, thanks for watching as well.